Okay, I'm going to call my seller, James, live for you right now. I'm going to put him on speaker, and I'm going to show you an example of how I use my zoom out technique. Now, to just remind you what we just went through, there's mold in James's home that we're trying to sell. We did not know this. The buyer found it in an inspection. The buyer wants the seller to remediate the mold before closing. James, yesterday, very angry about this. Very all caps angry about this. Doesn't want to do it. Doesn't want to pay the money. Told him to walk away. He'll keep the house forever. But that's not why James is trying to sell. We've got to get him to think about the big picture here and get him to move forward. This mold thing, it's real, but it's a small speed bump on the hallway to getting to the close. So let's see if he picks up.
Hello.
Hey James, it's Ryan Serhant.
Hey, what's going on, Ryan? How are you?
I'm good. Just wanted to touch base about our conversation that we were having over text to see if we can look at this mold remediation situation again, because I want to get back to the buyers that we currently have who we've agreed to on everything else, price, everything else in the deal. This is the last thing.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you remember yesterday, you were saying that $30,000 is just way too much and you want to pull out of the deal. Are you still in that place?
I mean, it's not fully off the table yet, but also I'm in no hurry. You know, as they say, I got plenty of time. I got all the time in the world.
Right, and I understand that. I mean, you've owned the home for a long, long time. So I completely understand your frustration with the situation. And I want to see you enjoying your retirement, right? In one of those great little cabins that we saw the other week, right? Up in the mountains with the whole view and everything. I think you were buying an axe because you want to chop down trees yourself. You know, be careful with your back when you get there. But I just want to think it through with you for a second, because listen, I'm here for you no matter what. We can do this deal with these people. We can find other people. I want to be your broker for life, right? I'm here for you. I represent you and whatever is best for you. But how do we get to the cabin in the woods if we don't sell your current house? Because you had told me that you wanted to get there because you need the cash from the sale, right? And you're not even in this house anymore. It's been vacant for a long time, which is why we didn't know about the leak, which is why we didn't know about the mold that the buyers then found.
True. Now, I mean, I'm aware of all of that, but still, $30,000 is quite a lot of cash up front. I just don't want to pay that. I refuse to. And, you know, I say we pull out of this deal and just wait for a better offer. Someone who isn't going to be having a fit about a little mold, and then I'll at least break even. And after that mold is taken care of, you know, we can just move forward.
Okay, I hear you. Can you just remind me quickly, how much was the remediation quoted at?
Yeah, they quoted me at $30,000. That's an insane amount. I just simply do not want to pay that.
Is there any amount that you would pay? Because I just want to reframe it for you. I know you're saying pull out of this deal because you think this is frustrating and annoying. We'll go find somebody else. Everyone will do an inspection on your property. It's old. You know this. It needs to be renovated, right? You know this. Someone could move in right away, but they're all going to do an inspection. And the minute they see that there was a leak, they're all going to bring in a mold inspector. They're going to find that there was mold. Everyone is going to put it on you. No buyer's going to come through and say, mold, exactly what I was looking for. Spores in the air, my daughter's going to love it. She's going to grow to be nice and it's just never going to happen. So we either figure this out with these buyers, or we're going to have to figure out with the next buyers. And if the market gets any worse or anything changes, the longer we're on the market, people are going to just make us deal with it anyway. And I'm trying to zoom out, understand that this is a small cost to pay to get you what you really want when you first reached out to me, which is, I want to sell this house. I don't use it anymore. I'm going to use that cash to go get your cabin in the woods.
Yeah. I mean, still $30,000 for this is a lot. I was expecting to pay a little less, quite a little less. I mean, I was thinking 15 grand at most. 30,000 is just insane. Like it's way out of line.
So you thought that the cost is going to be 15, and the quote that's coming in now is double that. I get that, right? I'm frustrated too, but can I ask you one question?
Go for it.
How much is your? 'Cause I'm just trying to look at all the costs. Really, just trying to zoom out and look at the big picture here. Your monthly costs all combined on this house, with the mortgage, the taxes, the pool upkeep, the landscaping upkeep, utilities, everything. What's the total cost again per month?
I'm spending about $12,000 a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
Give or take.
So just think about it this way. You're going to spend the extra $15,000 regardless of whether you back out of this deal or not, because it's either going to go towards remediating the mold, which you have to do anyway, or it's going to go to basically 1 month's worth of expenses, right? While we wait for a higher offer to come along. And the chances that the next offer is going to be higher is not that great. So you carry the house for the cost of the remediation that you're not willing to pay each month as we go. I don't think, as we think about the big picture, that actually makes financial sense. You're going to be out the money either way.
Right. Now, I mean, I'm sitting on a $30,000 quote. What can you do anything about that? Try to help me find something that's a little bit more affordable in that 15,000 range or so?
Let me make a call or two. Let me see if I can find someone who's going to beat that price, right? Maybe there's a bunch of mold remediators out there and they're all fighting for work. Let me see if I can get somebody who can have it taken care of, but at a better price. But I think it's in everyone's best interest, because the buy side and their agent are waiting on me right now. And the minute they think we don't have a deal because you don't want to fix the mold is the minute that they are going to think that there's 1,000 other problems in this house, right? They had their inspector come through, but if you're saying, no, I don't want to take care of the mold, they're not going to think it's because of $30,000. They're going to think it's because you want them to buy it as is, because they haven't found out about the termites or about, the ghost of your first wife, coming out of the basement or something. You know what I mean? So the quicker we get it done, the quicker it's closed. Then we can start focusing on finding you a new place with those beautiful mountain views, just like you've been dreaming of.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
Okay, so I'm going to tell them.
See if you can find the lower quote for the remediation, and then call me back.
I'll figure it out. Okay, let me go make those calls. I'll work on getting someone to come in at a lower quote, and I'll call you back later, but we're going to keep this deal moving forward.
Okay. I'll be here.
All right. Thanks, James.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. That got dicey for 1 second there, didn't it? Right? When he said, I don't want to do this deal. But remember, people make it about the money. It's oftentimes not about the money, especially when you're talking about a multi-million-dollar transaction and it dying over what I thought was $30,000, but what he told me was $15,000. Now we're talking about ego. We're using frustration and emotions to potentially kill deals. So what did I do there? He's older. He doesn't use this house. So you zoom out. What is the big picture? Why are we here in the first place? Why are we having this conversation? Why did we put the house on the market originally? It's to use the cash from this sale, from this house that's costing him $12,000 a month, to go and get this cabin in the woods that he's had in his mind for 100 years. That'll probably be his last home ever. But then I did something else that I wasn't really intending to do, okay? I used one of my 3 Ps, okay, to create urgency. I started pushing just a little bit as I talked about the market potentially changing, as I talked about interest rates, as I talked about the next buyer coming through. Who knows where that deal is going to be? There's urgency here. That person's going to need you to remediate the mold too, and they might need 100 other things. You never know. Right now, this person wants us to fix one thing to get you to the finish line. Sure, we pass up on this in the moment. You go carry your house for another $12,000 a month that you're not using. What if buyer 2 comes through at a slightly better price, but they want you to fix 3 things? Are you going to be happy then? I don't think so. This is also the first offer we've had in classic Real Estate 101. Your first offer is always your best offer. So that's how you use the Zoom technique. Now that conversation can get way more complicated. It doesn't have to be wrapped up in a button the way that I just did, but you want to remember, zoom out on the big picture as part of the CODO method. Zoom in on specific things when those are actually the things that are potentially getting in the way of the deal. For him, sitting on that fence does nothing for you and even less for him. Even less for the buyers. It only really works to stall everything that you've been trying so hard to keep moving. You need to get down off the damn fence and close that deal.